The engine is starting up.
For launch, GC, go. Guidance, go. Fido, go. Prop, go. GNC, go. Max.
Go.
Eagle. Go. Ecom.
Go pending final steps. The cabin link check.
3, 2, 1.
Is there anyone here that would like to communicate with us? Can you give us a sign?
Welcome to the R.I.F.T Nation Network, the RNN, putting a slide in your glide and a dip in your hip. Welcome to the mothership, the home of the travelers of the universe. With shows throughout the week, you can find us at Instagram, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, and more. Everything you could want, everything you can need right here, right now. From the paranormal to the supernatural. From comedy to the spiritual. And now, your featured show. Shall we begin?
It's showtime, folks!
Podcast may contain material that some listeners may find sensitive, offensive, or disturbing. We strive to create respectful and informative content, but topics discussed may include mature themes such as violence, explicit language, or controversial subjects, triggering content including discussions related to mental health, trauma, or other sensitive issues, explicit language. Occasionally, our guests or hosts may use strong language. While we aim to handle these topics with care and empathy, we encourage listeners to exercise discretion. If you find any content distressing, consider skipping or seeking support. Remember that this podcast is not a substitute for professional advice. If you need assistance, please consult a qualified expert.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to Mysteries Beyond the Scenes and the R.I.F.T Nation Network. I'm your host, Joni Skinner, and we are streaming live on YouTube, Twitch, Rumble, Facebook. Please like and share. Hello, chat. Happy Wednesday. How are you guys? It's quiet. The chat is quiet. Hi, Miss Linda. Hi, Miss Lee. I hope you all are doing very, very, very well. Hi, Peggy. How are you? Come on in, everybody. Take a seat. Get your favorite drink. soda, iced tea, pop, whatever you would like. Whatever part of the country. Let's see, we've got pop, we have soda, we have Diet Coke. That's what a lot of people call it different things. We call it pop. We call it pop here, or a Diet Coke. Everything's a Diet Coke, even if it's like a Mountain Dew. It's like, does anybody want a Diet Coke? But it's different sodas. I don't know. It's crazy. I hope you guys are having a super Wednesday, hanging in there. Jeez, what in, if you're an astrologer, you talk about astrological history and just watching everything unfold. We're almost there, you guys. We have to get through July, August, and it should be pretty good after September, after eclipse season. We're almost there. It's shifting, it's movement, it's change. I told you guys it was going to be a whole new world, and that's what's happening. So just be, just shift, move and shift, stay grounded. We have a full moon coming tomorrow. I'm going to give you a little heads up. This full moon is very serious. It's very, very serious. So do things to lighten the mood tomorrow because of the fact it's a lot of cardinal signs. When you have cardinal signs, which are Aries, Libra, Cancer, Capricorn, they want to go, they want to start, they want things moving. Well, we've got Mercury going into retrograde, Saturn next week, Neptune just went into retrograde. So we're going to have a lot of the serious tone with Capricorn wanting to feel safe and secure in our home because it's Cancer. It's opposing Cancer, but yet all these cardinal signs on the world point. It's an explosive moon. And we've got what we call a T-square, which is all the cardinal signs it's just a lot of pressure and tension. And Saturn is at the tip of that, which is karma. So it's going to be, we got to get started. No, we're going to stop. No, let's move forward. This is our new world. And then we've got Uranus going, come on, I'm busting through it. Let's go. I'm in Gemini. I'm happy. I'm talkative. I'm progressive. I'm innovative. So there is just a lot buzzing tomorrow. Just be prepared. And if it's a little bit of a serious mood, lighten up your load. You know what I mean? Lighten up your energy. Do whatever you got to do because that's just the energy. Just energy. And you know what? It's temporary. It comes and goes. So it'll be gone before you know it. So hello, Howie. How are you? Hello, Miss Denise, Miss Linda. It is. I love full moons, Linda. And of course you would. It's your ruler. Now, this moon, Linda, is going to be opposing your sun sign. So just be aware of that. So for all of our Cancer people, it's going to be opposing your sun sign. So that could be like, no, I want to feel secure. I might be a little mopey, but that's your Capricorn. So Capricorn has us getting things done. It's the task maker. Capricorn's going to be like, no, I'm the old system. The old system is gone. It's gone. So what we had in 2020, it's gone. We have to keep continuing to look forward. Rely on your faith and not your fear. There's a lot of fear mongering out there. So don't listen to it. Ignore it. Ignore the fear mongering. Okay, you guys, before we get started, Diddy trial thoughts. Because I have a case, Marrissa Mendoza from California. She had gone missing. So I had been looking at her case. And what had happened is she was found. So I had gone and went ahead and did her chart, did everything. But, she was found. Interestingly enough, the family, I don't know. It wasn't really in the papers or out a lot. But the fact of the matter is the family got together searches like what we would all do. If we didn't feel like oh, they're not searching enough. We would get as many people as we could to search. We'd pull out the stops for a loved one. Well, sure enough, you guys, a drone found her from one of the family searches. So don't think that when the families don't go out and search, there's a case right now that's local here where they're starting to get search people together. And I got a new time slot on that today, so I'm going to work on that as soon as we're done here. But for some reason around full moons and when we get shifts in the planets, a lot of missing persons cases occur. I've got like 3 or 4 right now, and they just continue to come, and they come in spurts where I'll get 1 or 2 to work on, and then I'll go like 3 weeks with none. And then people are texting, and it's weird. It's a weird pattern. But hi, Miss Tammy. How are you, hon? I know Tammy's been out searching with her wonderful dog, Bach, helping all the folks down in Texas. Bless all you guys. Have been lighting candles for Texas for you all. Be safe down there, Tammy. Upload the Weather Channel so that if there is I have an upload. You guys, everybody that's in any type of a weather pattern, upload the Weather Channel because they have the alarms go off. I'm in a flash flood zone, and I'm also in Tornado Alley, and the alarms will jar you out of a sleep. So Tammy, upload that on your phone. So, but we have sirens here as well. The sirens for tornadoes here will blast you out of a dead sleep. They're that loud. So, it's just a horrific situation down there. And then New Mexico got it. And then North Carolina. Neptune went into retrograde, sitting at 29 and 0 degrees. And it always happens. 1,000 earthquakes in Japan. They evacuated an island waiting for a volcano. 1,000. And I thought, it's coming with Uranus. We can predict better than the weather people. I'm sorry to say that, but we do. The astrology it narrows it down. It's incredible. So be safe out there, Tam. Diddy trial thoughts. I don't know how many of you all have followed the Diddy trial. I know I have. I've been giving you guys updates, and if you recall, I said I think he's going to walk. I don't think they have proven racketeering, RICO, which is racketeering. Racketeering, in a racketeering charge that the government brings, you have to prove some type of an enterprise and that people are making money doing it, kind of like the mob. RICO is what Giuliani cleaned up New York with and brought down all the mob bosses. When you get somebody for racketeering, there has to be money. It's like a corporation. That's what they did with Young Thug down in Atlanta. $30 million they spent on the Young Thug trial when Rice Street Jail is sitting there with mold in inhumane conditions. $30 million, they could have fixed up Rice Street Jail because that trial was a joke. Now, New York, he gets sentenced in September. The 2 charges that would have put him away for life, they found him innocent on, which I thought they would. Not to say that he's not a monster, because I think his career, everything's done. He is. We've looked at his chart. But the jury's a jury. They looked at the evidence, and we always honor a jury's decision. And I would have probably did what the jury did. You have to take the emotions out of everything when you're on a jury. You have to look at the facts in front of you. So that's going to be interesting. I'm going to think this is going to be my prediction. He is getting sentenced at eclipse. So we're going to have to look at his chart and see where the eclipse is hit on Diddy's chart. He's getting sentenced on an eclipse day. Holy cow. So it's end of September, and we'll look at his eclipse chart and be able to tell. I think he's going to get time served, maybe 6 months, if that. I think he's going to get time served and walk. That's just my opinion. I don't know. The charges, they're a slap on the wrist. So he's going to get out. So that's the Diddy trial. Okay, what did I do? I messed up. Oh, here we go. Okay, Texas. I wanted to bring up Texas, Miss Tammy. What I thought was interesting, and I thought it was pretty disgusting actually this week, is when this tragedy occurred, and we were all just, I know, praying and just grief stricken over the camp and the little girls and everything. The heroes that came out. We had one Coast Guard young man save and rescue over 200 little girls that were all cold and some were injured. He triaged them. He got them out, saved them. The heroes that came out, the mourning, the prayers that should have gone to the family. But all the media was talking about was who to blame. And I was so disgusted. I felt it was inappropriate and disgusting. And come to find out, when the dust settles, the Weather Service came out and they were saying, oh, it was because of the cuts in the budget. Weather Service said, no, we were doubly staffed because we knew of the weather situation coming. So here the public was in an uproar where they should have been mourning, praying for families, offering help, trying to get there, and people were being blamed. And I think it was a sin. I think it was a dishonor to our first responders. I think it was a dishonor to our military people that came in. And especially to our weather people who worked overtime. And even the people, the first responders down in Texas were so sick and tired of the media and their misrepresentation. They canceled some press conferences. They were so disgusted with the misinformation and lies that came out. And there were some true heroes that are there now and mourning families. And, the man that actually owned the Camp Mystic perished trying to save people. The following day, when they could get back into the camp, his son came in after losing his father to console families. Now, how do you think the press carrying on the way that they did made those families feel? Horrendous. I think it is just tragic. So, I'm just so disgusted about it because of the fact that, number one, they weren't understaffed. Number two, there was no cellular service down in this area. And number three, there are no cell phones permitted. The campers are not permitted to have cell phones at the camp. So here the media was out giving disinformation when they didn't even know the facts. They didn't even know the facts. And they said it was equivalent to, I don't know how many Niagara Falls worth of water coming down at one time. But it seems to me that when you're trying to blame people, you forget that Mother Nature is a force. Mother Nature is a force. And when they were giving out weather reports that day, the flash, I get flash flood alerts all the time. I'm in a zone. However, when you get an alert at 4:30 in the morning and you don't have cell service and you might not have your phone on, you're not, who knows? Possibly just put some old-fashioned sirens around that area and the fire people let off the fire alarms. That's an old-fashioned thing that we have here in Kentucky, and it works. But what I found was interesting, and I pulled up this information, you guys, because I thought, what in the hell happened there? Remember when we had that show on cloud seeding? And I said, wait a minute, I found 1,200 articles. And remember the Vietnam situation that I found in the congressional hearings that were held? That cloud seeding does indeed exist, even though the lying media again is telling us, no, it doesn't exist. When I'm like, wait a minute, it was on Noah's channel. There's 1,200 articles. I did a show on it. Well, guess what? The CEO of a Rainmaker, the name of the company is Rainmaker. CEO, 25 years old, came out. He had been cloud seeding in that area either the day before or the day before, I believe. The day before there was cloud seeding. So I think that needs to be investigated. I think when the chips are down, I think everything needs to be investigated. As you know, there was scrutiny over the Texas floods. I'm going to make this bigger. Let's make it bigger. Here we go. There we go. Rainmaker CEO to speak publicly amid cloud seeding scrutiny. He's claiming that it couldn't have made that much water. But we know, and here we go. The operation, Project Controlled Weather Popeye Motor Pool, was a military cloud seeding project carried out by the U.S. Air Force during the Vietnam War 67-72 to extend the monsoon season. Remember, North Vietnamese military supplies by softening road surfaces and causing landslides. Now, this was back in 1967. It's 2025. I think things have been enhanced since then. The Air Force uses cloud seeding techniques, dispensing silver iodine into clouds to trigger more rainfall than naturally would occur, conducted from 67 to 72. It was to wash out roads, disrupt river crossings, and generally make the terrain more difficult to navigate for the North Vietnamese. The program was initially kept secret, but its existence was later revealed, leading to controversy and a ban on using weather modification. Now, if you guys recall when we did this story, because we brought it up because of North Carolina, and everybody was saying, because the media was saying there's no such thing, it's a conspiracy. And I'm like, wait a minute. I got that on Noah's website. What are you talking about? So, make a long story short, I think this is something they need to regulate. Now, because of the controversy, because people feel like it's people playing God, if you recall the congressional hearings in that show that we discussed, you have to tell the aviation authorities what you're doing. You have to report it. That's how people went back and looked at the records and found out that this kid was up there doing this. Because it's you have to make it public. That's a federal law. So and look at that. Besides cloud seeding, they also use a substance called commando lava to turn mud into a sticky, impossible substance. Okay, that was in 67. 2025. Put two and two together. Yeah, Keith said they've been doing it since the 40s. Yeah, remember that? And if you recall, Keith, on that show, if y'all remember, the Hurricane Betsy that came through the Gulf, remember? There was they were going to do a cloud seeding experiment prior to that, and Hurricane Betsy was going to die off, and she turned out to be one of the most destructive hurricanes in history. Oh, nothing to see here. Tammy says it flooded 4:30, pitch black. Couldn't see to get out. It was a tragedy. You can't blame anyone. They had no power for one. Little kids are, yeah. And not only, here's the thing, Tammy, what the 6-year-olds were closest to the river. The smaller children were down on the river. Now, and it's very tragic. It's extremely tragic. And what made me mad is when the country should have been praying together, we were hearing misinformation from the press and politicians. And I think it's terrible. I just think it's disgusting during a tragedy. It's disgusting to me. The little children, and the thing is, it shouldn't. It's tragic, horrific, but to rescue almost 700 plus people and save them tells you how quickly Texas first responders jumped into action. It is a miracle of God that they saved 700 plus, maybe 800 people. And most of it was by air. So can you imagine that many people being saved? That's what we should have been talking about, the heroes and the tragedy and prayers for the families. But instead, we have a rotten media that's out there trying to blame the National Weather Service, which was fully staffed. They gave out their alarms, and I think that media, it's just disgusting. So, I don't know. I'm done on my soapbox. Tammy, stay safe, hon. And you're right, Tammy. Pitch black. You're down in that terrain right now. And it's just horrific, and North Carolina went through this. New Mexico has gone through this. It's just horrific right now. And people should be pulling together. And I just think it's just so disrespectful to these families that have lost little ones. It's just terrible. So we're praying for you guys, Tammy. We're lighting candles, and I know Samaritan Cajun Army's down there, Samaritan's Purse. I was very impressed, really, for the first time that FEMA got in there as quickly as they did, and the Coast Guard. That boy that saved so many people was Coast Guard. I'm impressed for the first time. I keep it up. So we'll just keep saying our prayers for you guys, and watch that weather, Tammy, while you're down there with those damn flash floods. Flash floods are dangerous. They will get you very quickly, and just inches of water that goes that quickly. That's what happens with hurricanes. Is the surge. It just comes up, and you shouldn't even drive around, it's horrific. So it was taking out houses. So here is, Tammy, be safe down there. Here is our case for this week, you guys. This is a horrific case. And again, it's just, I will say one thing. Hi, Miss Lois. This is such a tragic case for a beautiful young girl, Marrissa D. Napoli. And I don't know why. I'm going to blame this on Mercury retrograde. I put Mendoza as her last name, and it's not. It's Di Napoli. And I've been looking at this all week, and I thought, oh, they caught the monster that did this, and his last name was Mendoza. So I apologize for that. Felt terrible, and when I caught it, I couldn't change the slides around. But Marrissa was 18 years old, from Morgan Hill, which is it's in Northern California, Morgan Hill, south of San Francisco, up in Northern California. Beautiful. Look at her. Beautiful young lady. She had broken up with this guy back in May. Everybody said she was the kindest, sweetest. Look at her. She's just radiant. And she disappeared. She texted her family on June 28th and said, I'm spending the night. I'll be home tomorrow. Spending the night with a friend. Well, apparently, her and this ex monster were caught on Ring camera leaving a home. And that was the last she was seen. Now, it was reported at 9:45 a.m. on June 28th that she was caught on camera. And then I heard 9:30. Then I heard 9:30 p.m. So I think it was a.m. I'm not quite sure. Well, she was reported missing on June 30th by her family because she was not heard from since. So her family got together with people with drones and they went out and started to search. And then on July 2nd, the search party that went out to search for her, it was not the authorities, they found her. Now, the ex-boyfriend, Mendoza, was named as a person of interest from the beginning. And of course, he disappeared. They couldn't find him. Okay, and this is the area right here. See the detail area shown? That's where she was found, around this Anderson Lake County Park. Okay, there he is, the monster. He hightailed it from California and went to Mexico. Well, on July 7th, July 6th, 7th, guess who was trying to come back into the country? Mendoza, trying to get back into the United States. Luckily now, we have a secure border and they caught him. He was arrested at the border, charged with her homicide, and no bond. So he has been apprehended at the border coming back into the U.S. So after doing this horrific crime where she was stabbed and left in this park, he escaped, went to Mexico, came back, and was apprehended. So thank God for the police to get the information out, person of interest, worked the case quickly, and they caught him. Good. So here we go. The court documents, they were filmed arguing on surveillance camera at a residence on Trail Drive. The phone data obtained indicates they then headed towards Anderson Lake, which was that little block that we had. District Attorney Jeff Rosen says there at that park, Dina Poli was stabbed 5 times in the back, and he left her near a picnic area. It was a brutal attack. He fled to Mexico when his car was captured on video entering at the border crossing. So they knew he had entered Mexico. Days later, an arrest warrant led to his detainment by the U.S. Marshals when he attempted to walk back into the U.S. He left one border entrance to enter Mexico. He returned a short time later through a different entrance without a car and without a phone. Sneaky. So he was apprehended. That's when where they had found her near Morgan Hill. And that was in this area like I had showed you guys. There's the map right there. There is the map in that area. Beautiful. It's a beautiful area. And they had said he was obsessed with her. Well, she's a beautiful young woman. And there she is. And there are the flowers in the memorial for where close to where she had been found. 18 years old. She wanted to be a nurse. So let's take a look at the astrology. Look now, check this out, you guys. Look at this. Here you go, Lois. Look at this. She is the ascendant The victim is the rising sign that rules the first house, which is Capricorn. So what sign is ruled by Capricorn? That's Saturn, fourth house, at a home. Remember, they were leaving a home. This is like 9:30 in the morning. They were filmed at 9:45. So she was at a home. Look at Saturn right next to Neptune. She was filmed at a home. Filmed at a home. He is represented by Cancer, which is the seventh house, which is the opposite, the perp. That would be the moon. It's the eighth house. And that's usually the house of any type of unaliving. Okay. As you can see, we look at the fifth house. What's the fifth house? That's places that we enjoy, a park, golf course, baseball field, ball fields, golf courses, a gym, anything that we enjoy. Things, it's places that we enjoy going to. So as we can see, we look up at Mars in the ninth house. Now remember too that the ninth house is the sign of highways, long distance travel, of foreign nationality. And we see that Venus, which represents a female, is down in the fifth house, right next to Uranus, which is a shock, unexpected. Taurus is in the woods, in the Taurus's woods. All the earth signs are considered, those are places that are down closer to the earth. So when you have like the water signs, it's around water, or the person's in water. Air signs, it's up higher. Libra is around a farm or a barn. Aquarius would be around like an airport, can be around an airport, around electrical wires. So, but this shows us she was in a park, and Mars is up in the ninth house, viciously attacked. That would be the weapon and the attack. And you can see that line goes right down to her attack in the woods. And there he is up there. Now, she's connected with, in the seventh house, that's the perp. It looks to me, and I don't know, the sun would be an older man. So was he trying to find her, get somewhere for an older man? I don't know that. We'll have to wait and see what happens with this trial. It looks to me, if you can look in Pluto, the second house is money. It's always money. Was there and hitting Mercury, which is communications? Were they arguing, and they're opposing? Were they arguing about money? Was this an argument about what's valued? What is valued to him? Mercury is communications. It's phones. Mercury can be a car. Was there an argument in the car regarding money? What you value? That was the triggering. I don't know. But that is her event chart prior to. So if you can see that there were events that led up to her unaliving. So that was at 9:30. And they said that they were filmed arguing at 9:45. So there we go. Arguing, that's clearly in the chart with Pluto and Mercury, more than likely about money. This chart tells everything. This is a very clean. See, this is what happens when we get, and like it's hard when you're working with people that are missing a loved one. And I understand that the closer that we get to an exact time, the chart will tell us. The chart will tell us everything. But if you're off by, oh, well, I think it was noonish. No, we can't do noonish. Astrology is so accurate it's all time. It's all related to timing and time. So without an accurate timestamp, we can't get the story. But this chart really gives us the entire story, actually. The entire story. So what a monster. So let's look at, now wait till you see the map. Okay, so I did not have an address on Trail Drive. So where the middle pin is when I mapped it is Trail Drive. As you can see, where the blue pin is the lake and the picnic area. So we have a line that's going right to, there we go, it's right there. So I'm not exactly sure where she was found. I know she was found in the park. So we have a line that goes, and see, that's where if someone would have said to search, I would have said, go to this park. It's the park. It's the wooded area, because you look at the chart, it's a fifth house where people like to go. She's in the park, and look at the line. So from and I didn't have exact addresses. I think if I had an exact address on Trail Road and right where that lake is, that's where they were, right in that area. I mean, it's just wild. So that's this. I mean, it's never wrong. So we have there she was found, and I don't know in that area is where she was found, but there you go. There's the park, there's the lake. So this is one of those charts that was just the chart and the map. So then when I found out he was found, when she was found, I kind of figured it was the park. I wasn't sure, and then when he was caught, it was like relief. I think it's wonderful. He was a relief. And the families come out and said, please honor them. Please don't do any GoFundMes, nothing, just please allow us to mourn and have some peace, which I think that's wonderful. And I'm glad that they kind of said that, because a lot of the scammer people try to be fake and put up fake GoFundMes when tragedies hit families. It's the world we live in now. So that is our case for this week, you guys. Pretty remarkable. It's a sad ending. And Peggy, back to the floods. I wonder if the flood here in 2016 in Denham Springs was a seeding. Peggy, you can go on. It's public record. It's a federal law. If somebody goes out and does cloud seeding, and doesn't report it. So you can go back and look in 2016 in your area, and you can check. You can check and see. It's a thing. And for people to say and deny it, it's mind-boggling that people actually deny that it doesn't occur. It's been occurring, like Keith said, since the 40s. Now, the information that I found that people would believe more than anything was because they used it in the Vietnam War. And we've got records. We have congressional hearings, pages and pages of hearings on this subject. Now, Peggy, Hurricane Betsy hit around down there, down in the 60s, I believe. It hit around New Orleans, didn't it? That was a controversy with cloud seeding, because they were scheduled to do some experiments. And Betsy formed very, very quickly. Tammy thinks it would. Tammy is under the impression, she feels that it was too, and she's down on the scenes. Do you really? Are people thinking that, Tammy? Or do you? It's probably not even in the conversations. I doubt it with you all searching. That the people that I'm around that have talked to about it believes that it was seeding. Because of the fact the moisture from that tropical storm was coming up from California. And I don't think, so if it were to hit tropical storm rain clouds and you didn't check the weather or you were going out and doing this, why do people do that without the public knowing it? That's my question. I think the public should be made aware when people are out doing this. How are they allowed? That's my question. How are people allowed to go around and do seeding without the public's knowledge? Who gives them the right to go out and do this onto our properties? And why are they doing it? I know that area apparently was in a drought. Who approved for this kid, 25 years old, to go up and go around and seed? This is like, to me, this is like Bill Gates wanting to shut off part of the sun and do experiments. Well, who is he? Why is he allowed to even consider that? I don't get this. I don't understand this. I remember it was going on in the 60s. We learned about it in elementary school. I assume with technology growing, they're able to do much more now. Yeah, in the 60s, that was, yeah, absolutely. Well, that's even more of a, and this is true, Tammy, wondering if malintent. Well, of course, I'm going to go and see who this kid is, right? You know I'm going to creep. I'm going to creep some more because he seems like he came out and has given interviews. And I've got to give him that. But he's gotten a lot of grants and money from sources that need to be checked out. A lot of the money, I'm going to keep looking because a lot of that money, a lot of this money is being cut off, rightfully so. Because it's not, yeah. Was that we all should be made aware of it. I know. Everybody should. They should have to give public notice. Public notice. Absolutely. They did it in Texas because it's hot and everything dries up here. Well, sure, but I think they should give out public notice. Again, who are they to play God? I agree with that. I think they should not be manipulating weather, period, end of it. None. No way, no how. Droughts, things are dry. It's part of, there's other ways to irrigate and water as opposed to a science that they're not alerting citizens. And I think we as citizens should be in an uproar about it. Even if this wasn't the cause of Texas, it could happen. How do we know? How do we know what they're doing? And who are they doing it for? And I think the public should be aware of it. Even if that is a farmer that they wanted over their land, who's to say it wouldn't do what it did? I think it's dangerous. I think it's very dangerous. And I think we should all start saying enough. No, they've got to have some regulations on this. They got to do something. I agree. Well, in Florida, they banned it. You are no longer permitted to do this in Florida. Florida, to me, is always a step ahead. They pay no state tax. The prices are low. The crime rate is great. Florida is ahead of the curve on everything. And now he's getting ready to get rid of property tax. So they banned that last year, I believe. They banned it last year. And I think I don't think anybody should play God. Great show. Glad she was found and he was caught. Absolutely, Denise. That I know it helps. It's a relief to the families when people are found, especially him being caught. And you know what else? Can you believe this idiot walks back in here, goes to Mexico and walks back in? Now, if he would have done that a year ago when there were hundreds of thousands coming in and they were coming in droves and not being checked, he would have been let go. So maybe he wasn't aware that the borders are secure now. Thank God the border is secure. Thank goodness. Or he would have been caught. He would have been let go. I'm glad too. I am glad he was found. Beautiful young lady. Prayers to the family. They can at least get closure and try to heal. So we'll keep, I was glad he was caught. I was going to say, we're going to keep our prayers out. And then Texas happened. I'm going to check into more about this this company that is doing all this. I'll bring that info next Wednesday. See, this kid's 25 years old. 25. And he got like a couple $500,000 backers, which that's okay. But I'm gonna do some creeping. Now he claims that it would not have caused this much water. Well, I don't know. We'll see. But at least here's the situation. At least this is a situation. Now, this has happened twice to us. You guys, here we go again. This has happened twice since Saturn and Neptune. And this is why we got to pay attention. Saturn and Neptune together, the mask is down. How many times, and for you guys in Canada, we have had this ongoing battle between people saying people that are coming across the border are not getting health benefits. They're not getting them. No way. They can't get benefits. Yes, they have. Last week, it was voted on a bill, and that was the big fight, that they would not be permitted to get on our insurance plans, or the government-sponsored insurance, which there's over 1 million and something on them now, and they're not working, but they're draining the system. So that came out. So finally, people that have been misinformed for years now, no way, they're not allowed to get them. It came out last week. It also came out in Minnesota with that unfortunate unalive situation with the Speaker of the House when she voted against it in the House in Minnesota. So it's been coming out of their money as well. The state pays for so much of it, and then the government pays for so much. And now people's eyes are being opened that they are being continually lied to. So this is another situation with the cloud seeding. Oh, no way. No, remember during North Carolina, that's conspiracy. Now here's the kid with the company saying, no, I did it. And Lee says it. Yeah, he did it June 30th and July 2nd. Okay, so why did he abruptly stop? That would be my question on the interview. You abruptly stopped. He abruptly ceased the seeding. Why? That would have been my question. So we'll see. PA will eventually only be 2 hours from the ocean. I wish we were 2 hours from the ocean. That would be great. I think we need to the public needs to be aware when it's going on, and we're kind of far behind in the times here, but we have sirens. We have old-fashioned sirens. But upload the Weather Channel on your phone. It's free. And if you're in any kind of a zone, especially with the planets that are being so crazy this year, because natural events are also connected with the planets. So if you're earthquake zone, flood zone, tornado alley like we are, I don't care where, or fire zone, the Weather Channel has they get the National Weather Service alarms. That's what mine comes from. Yeah, I don't know. I think we should be told. The public should be made aware. That was my thoughts. What a dummy. I think we should be told. I think that's the public needs to be aware. Oh, they're cloud seeding. Okay, is it because we're in a drought? We might have bad rains. So, I think people would be more weather aware. They would be a lot more weather aware. So, well, Miss Tammy, please be safe. Everybody keep prayers out for Tammy and Bach to stay safe. And be careful down there, honey. And you guys, I hope you enjoyed this show. I'm going to get more information on this kid's company. Find out what's going on and who he did it for, and find out the ins and outs of it and who they have to report to. I know remember from that show we did, it is a big federal crime if you don't report that you're doing it. You can get fined. It's huge fines. You can get in a lot of trouble because it was very controversial in Congress about people playing God. And I think it's a people playing God situation. I don't think they should do it, but who am I? Who am I? I just think we shouldn't play God. Well, you guys have a great week. I will look that info up. I've got some other cases that I'm working on here, just like where people contact me. So, if they don't mind, I'll ask them if I can bring those cases out on the show and show you guys what I work on when I'm not working on show stuff or astrology stuff. I'm working on family stuff. So be safe, everybody. Yeah, everybody stay safe. The planets are really wild until we get through about mid-August. So stay safe, stay grounded, and stay friendly. Be kind. I think that's a big thing with these planets because they're so weird. Thanks so much for tuning in, you guys. I couldn't do it without you guys. Oh, I'm sure you are, honey. Well, you know what? If you are Tammy, take a day off. I mean, you're not going to help. You're not going to be much help if you fall over because you're of exhaustion. So just watch the heat. And if you're exhausted, just take it. Listen to your body, especially for the dog too. Because if you're exhausted, the dog is too. So be mindful and get some rest and stay hydrated, hon. Keep that phone on too, because we love you, Tammy. So stay safe, hon. Be careful, everybody. Have a great week, and I'll talk to you guys next Wednesday. Have a great week.